Hello there. My name is Joan Qualls. I'm a travel advisor with Virtuoso and Gifted Travel Network, and I'm pleased to present information about a Collette tour called Wilderness of Southern Africa, Safari by Land and Water. This is a really unique way to explore Southern Africa. On this tour, you'll be spending time briefly in South Africa as well as Zimbabwe and Botswana. I have reserved group space on this trip for November 5th through November 19th of 2026, and there's special pricing available for people booking into my group. The price will increase on March 30th of 2026. And this lovely presentation that I'm sharing with you has been curated by my partner at Collette Tours, Gaith Haddad. So let's go ahead and dive in. The name of the tour is Wilderness of Southern Africa, a safari by land and water. This is a unique safari that combines time on the land, including land safaris, as well as 3 nights spent on a riverboat and the opportunity to do safaris from various rivers to see the animals near the water. Here is an overview of the trip. The tour starts and ends in Johannesburg. From Johannesburg, after spending the first night there, you'll be flying to Victoria Falls, have lunch at Victoria Falls before heading to Chobe National Park for 3 days. Then from there, going to Hwanga National Park for another 3 days. From there, going to Lake Kariba for another 3 nights on the riverboat before heading back to Victoria Falls for a hotel on the land for your final 3 days of the tour before returning to Johannesburg and then flying home. This travel style is what Collette calls explorations. The group size, the average is 14 and the maximum number of travelers is 20. The minimum age for children on this tour is 13. The activity level for this tour is classified by Collette as being an activity level number 4, which means that this is a very active tour and guests need to be in good physical shape. There's the possibility of walking for 2 or 3 hours at a time on uneven and hilly or steep terrain. There's very early mornings and very late nights and very, very full days. This tour is not really appropriate for travelers who use wheelchairs, walkers, and other mobility assistance devices, as well as those travelers who may require supplemental oxygen. Tips for visiting Southern Africa. The time zone is the South Africa Standard Time, and Botswana and Zimbabwe are in Central Africa Time. When you're packing for safari, you want to take neutral colored clothes that take their colors from nature. You don't want to have bright colors because that can be distracting or scare the animals. The transportation that we'll be using on this tour includes airplanes to get around the continent of Africa, as well as coaches, jeeps, and riverboats. The typical day on safari includes a morning game drive where you usually are getting started very, very early in the morning because it's cool and that's when the animals are out and about, followed by breakfast, then some time to relax, have lunch, and then an afternoon game drive, which frequently ends in a sundowner, a nice tradition of having beverages as the sun is going down after your afternoon game drive, followed by dinner back at your safari lodge. If you want to come in a day early to get acclimated to the time change and to rest up a bit after your very long flight from the United States, there is an option to add a pre-night stay in Johannesburg. The cost of that is $150 per room if you would like to do that. So the tour begins in Johannesburg, South Africa. This is a city with a thriving art scene that's full of galleries, theaters, museums, music, and a dynamic coffee culture. Johannesburg is also known as Joburg. It's grown leaps and bounds from its turbulent history. It's also a destination known for the greatest gold mining on earth. As the face of modern South Africa, it's a testament to how far the country has come and where its future is headed. The subtropical highland climate offers weather that's always just about right. So once you're here, enjoy some time getting settled into your hotel. On the 3rd day, we'll be heading by airplane from Johannesburg to the Chobe National Park. We'll be going to the Chobe Bush Lodge near the Chobe River. The flight to Victoria Falls is very short. We'll meet your tour director before continuing on to the lodge. Once at the lodge, you'll be able to relax for a little bit after checking into your home for the next 3 nights in Botswana. The Chobe Bush Lodge is a luxury retreat in the middle of the African bush on the border of Chobe National Park and within walking distance of the Chobe River. Your accommodations are super comfortable. The guest rooms are spacious. Each features air conditioning, a television, and a stylish open-plan bathroom featuring a tub and a separate shower. The lodge offers the perfect balance between comfort and luxury, where you'll be in the midst of Botswana's unspoiled nature and wildlife. The common areas at the lodge inspire rest and relaxation, as does the swimming pool area, looking out on the bush. You'll gather with your fellow travelers on that first evening for a welcome dinner at the Chobe Bush Lodge. On day 4, you'll be getting up really early, rising before the sun, for your morning game drive in Chobe National Park. If you've been dying to see the big predators, then you'll be looking for the leopard, hyena, wild dog, lion, and cheetah. Your safari guide will lead the way. They're experts at spotting the animals in the wild. Chobe National Park has the highest game density in all of Africa. Massive elephant populations are constantly on the move here, along with big herds of buffalo and prides of lions. The park is teeming with wildlife of all shapes and sizes. One of the things you may realize by the end of your safari experience is that while you may have come to see the big 5, the lion, the elephant, the hippo, the African buffalo, and the leopard, the smaller creatures, or ones you might never have heard of or thought about, may it capture your heart as well. Here are 3 of the beautiful birds that you might be seeing while you're on your tour. On the left is a kingfisher. On the right is a lilac-breasted roller. That's in the middle. And on the right is the black stork. The park is home to an incredible population of bird life. So if you're a birder, you'll be in heaven. The best thing is that your safari guide appreciates all creatures, from the tiniest bug to the largest elephant. They'll make sure to draw your attention to all of them and teach you a little bit about them and their role in this amazing ecosystem. Do you know what these are? Well, the slide says that you'll have to find out for yourself, but I went ahead and looked it up. It's something called a southern carmine bee-eater, a beautiful, colorful bird. You can see one in the lower left-hand corner with its wings spread. These are some of the animals that you may see while you're on safari. This is a lioness with her lion cub. The bottom right is a hyena with her cub, and in the middle is a warthog crossing the path. When you're out in the bush, you're not in your own world anymore. You're in the animal kingdom, and because of that, you'll need to tone your voice down to a whisper as you acclimate to this new environment, and all of your attention will be focused outward toward nature. After the morning game drive, you'll head back to the lodge to enjoy a hearty breakfast. Afterwards, you'll have free time to enjoy the lodge's amenities or just simply relax. On day 4, after lunch, you'll jump aboard your private boat and take to the waters of the Chobe River, where hippos play in the river or linger alongside its shores. Elephants are the primary residents in Chobe, and this scene is just a glimpse of what you might expect to see during your private cruise this afternoon. An abundance of wildlife calls the Chobe River home. For instance, this crocodile soaking up the sun during his afternoon nap. Large game make good neighbors for the aquatic birds, like this great egret making a pit stop on the back of this Cape buffalo. These are African skimmers flying across the water. The abundance of wildlife in and around the river is absolutely spectacular. The big 5 attract a lot of attention, but so do the beautiful birds of southern Africa. On day 5, the early bird will be getting up and a whole lot more to see in the animal kingdom. After grabbing a quick breakfast, you'll hop aboard the private boat for a morning game cruise to observe how the local creatures enjoy their breakfast. River cruises are an excellent opportunity to get close to nature, and with the large population of elephants who call the Chobe River home, these lovely giants are never very far from view. Elephants are the ultimate grazers, and these vegetarians feed for up to 16 hours a day on grasses, trees, fruits, and water lilies. After your river cruise, you'll return to your lodge where you'll have free time to relax, use the pool, or take a nap. There's even a spa across the road in case you want to pamper yourself. After lunch, you'll take another game drive on the land in Chobe National Park, where in addition to the big cats, you'll want to try and spot buffalo, hyenas, zebras, impala, and a whole lot more. Safari is all about the search and find. You never know what you're going to see on any given day on safari. The big five command the most attention, but keep your eyes open for all the other creatures who inhabit this kingdom and who are just as awesome. For instance, the African wild dogs, also called painted dogs. When you sight these animals, it's a real treat. They're fairly rare. Tonight, you'll enjoy a unique dinner cruise along the gentle waters of the Chobe during an exclusive boat ride with your fellow travelers. On day 6, you'll enjoy a leisurely final morning in Chobe National Park. After breakfast, you'll take a 90-minute drive to Victoria Falls, where we'll stop for lunch, savoring fresh local ingredients while we look over the gorge to the Zambezi River below. From there, we'll go back to the lodge and then have time to enjoy breakfast before we hit the road. And we'll be going on a 2.5-hour drive to Inganyana Tented Camp, which is about 2.5 hours. Hwanga National Park is the largest park in Zimbabwe. With more than 100 types of mammals and 400 bird species, Hwanga is known for being one of the best game parks on the continent. You'll have a chance to see the big five, as well as cheetahs, giraffe, elk, and a whole lot more. It's also a popular watering hole for large populations of elephants because they're attracted to the watering holes during the dry season. The first order of business upon arrival is getting you settled into your tented camp. Your home for the next 3 nights, Iganyana Tented Camp, lends a different meaning to being in the heart of Africa. It will also lend new meaning to Tented Camp. Iganyana is a private luxury bush camp sitting on an exclusive wildlife concession bordering Hwanga National Park. The name Iganyana means wild dog after the African wild dog. The atmosphere is a reflection of the mythical old Africa in comfort, service, and style. The camp is nestled among the shade of a teak forest. Its design features 15 guest tents that form an arc on the property, and each tent has a view over an open grass plain of an ancient dry riverbed. Let's talk about this tent's creature comforts. Each guest room is 640 square feet. All rooms accommodate king or twin bed configurations and are also able to fit up to 2 additional beds. You'll have an ensuite bathroom and shower, toilet, double vanities, as well as a separate dressing area, a mini lounge, and a tea and coffee station. With its open plan design, the central lounge offers wonderful views of passing game. The main deck area features a pizza oven, and there's also a rustic fire boma where guests gather at night. One of the wonderful things about Iganyana is that because you're literally in the middle of the bush, and the way the property was designed to dovetail with nature, wherever you are on the property, there's always an opportunity to see wildlife, which makes for fantastic photo opportunities. Being able to witness Africa's animal kingdom in their natural habitat is an incredible experience, but more importantly, it supports animal conservation and the well-being of the communities who depend on tourism. Let me draw your attention to the camp's pool. Sure, it's a place to relax and refresh during your downtime, but it's got another feature. Imagine relaxing by the side of the pool and seeing this, a bunch of elephants, or ellies as they call them in South Africa or Southern Africa, coming up to get a drink from the pool right where you're sitting. This is something that you're not going to see back in the US. After getting settled into your tented accommodations, we'll get you out into Hwanga National Park for an afternoon game drive. One of the most beautiful animals you'll see on safari is the cheetah. They're the fastest land animals on the planet and can increase their speed by 6 miles per hour in a single stride.
We're in the middle of Africa. We're talking blue skies, acacia trees.
This is the type of vehicle that you'll be in during your
It's
safari
really magical.
time. You use a
My
step
name
to
is
get into
Gerald,
the vehicle.
so
open
it's
air
quite
safari,
amazing
which provides
being
for
a
very
tour guide,
maximum
showing people
enjoyment
different
while you're
amazing
on safari.
sightings in such a big office.
We headed to what we call Makwapin. There was quite some activity: giraffes, baboons, elephants, and zebras, not mentioning the rest.
How about the elephants?
The Congo line of elephants, which you really wanted to see.
So we'd seen them in the distance. We just kind of sat and waited, and they literally crossed right in front of us. It was a dream come true.
This is what we call a safari. That's the true definition of a safari: to go out there to search and find.
Day 7 is another day to get up early in search of the Big Five. After breakfast, you'll be spending a full day on a game drive in Hwanga National Park. How many chances in life will you ever get to venture deep into the bushland and maximize your chances to spot buffalo, elephants, and other animals gathering in the park while you eat your lunch? At the end of the day, you'll return to your lodge for dinner and recap the day's adventures alongside your fellow travelers. Day 8, your third day at Iganyana, it's your choice. You can take advantage of hopping back into one of the open-air safari vehicles and enjoy a morning game drive, or you can join an expert national park guide on a game walk, giving you the rare opportunity to search for wildlife up close. It's a tough choice, but you're guaranteed to have the vehicle-based game drive in the afternoon, as well as your morning activity. Enjoy a final morning in the park before driving to Lake Kariba, the world's largest African lake. Day 9, you'll be boarding a private safari boat on Lake Kariba. This will be your home for the next 3 nights. There's limited access to tech here, but Collette's guests seem to appreciate the opportunity to immerse themselves in the experience of floating along the still waters, searching for local wildlife on the land and in the lake, and enjoying sunrises and sunsets. Lake Kariba is 140 miles long and 25 miles wide. It's the world's largest water reservoir by volume. It provides considerable electric power to both Zambia and Zimbabwe and supports a thriving commercial fishing industry. It's not actually a lake, but it's the planet's largest man-made dam. The weather in this area is mostly sunny and fine, although it does heat up in the summer months of January and February. Winter nights bring warm temperatures and a balmy atmosphere. Here's a photo of the interior of the boat. On the left side, you see the dining room, and on the right side, you see a typical guest cabin on the boat. If the weather's fine, you may have the opportunity to dine al fresco out on the deck. And the deck is wide and open and provides a nice place for viewing the river as you glide through. On day 10, you'll trade in the safari boat for a smaller tender boat, which is perfectly sized to cruise upriver channels off the lake, where you'll see the wildlife which inhabits this region. After this, you'll head back to the safari boat for brunch. There's always a chance to try your hand at fishing in Lake Kariba from one of the smaller tender boats. Before having dinner on the safari boat, take time to admire the stunning red and orange hues of the setting sun over Lake Kariba. There's really nothing like an African sunset. On your 11th day, you'll start with a relaxed morning as you sail past the unspoiled wilderness and rugged scenery. You'll savor brunch later this morning and enjoy a trip and a chance to fish on the tender boats in the afternoon. This evening, stargazing will be coupled with a delicious meal. It'll be a dining experience that you won't soon forget. Day 12, your safari boat experience will come to a close this morning as you drive back to Victoria Falls. You'll experience a different wild adventure today when you witness Victoria Falls. One of the things about choosing to go on safari in Africa is that you'll see things that you may have grown up hearing about, but that maybe you never thought you'd experience in person. Victoria Falls is one of those experiences. It's one of the largest and most stunning falls on the planet. It's set between Zambia and Zimbabwe, and the falls form a natural border between these two countries. The Zambezi River, which is more than a mile wide, plunges into a vertical abyss across its entire width. Can you imagine the sheer force of that energy? In Victoria Falls, you'll be staying at the Ilala Lodge. Upon your arrival at the Ilala Lodge, you'll be treated to lunch. The Ilala Lodge Hotel is a family-run hotel offering luxury and comfort in the heart of the Victoria Falls region. It's just an 8-minute walk from one of the 7 wonders of the world, and it's where you'll round out your African adventure. Trivia question: how did Victoria Falls get its name? The answer: the Scottish missionary David Livingstone identified the falls in 1855 and named the British colonial falls after Victoria Falls after Queen Victoria. And this is, of course, David Livingstone of Dr. Livingstone, I presume. Livingstone loved the area so much that when he passed away, while his body was shipped back to England for burial, his heart was buried here in the beautiful African continent. On your 13th day, you'll start with a visit to Chinotimba Township, and you'll have a chance to experience local daily life at a nearby market. Then it's on to meet a local family for a home-hosted lunch where your host will prepare an authentic and tasty meal with you and share what life is like around Victoria Falls. The community is actively involved in hosting this lunch, and all income generated puts the benefits of tourism directly back into the local community. After this, you'll return to the hotel to enjoy the rest of the day and evening as you please. During your free time, you can take an optional tour on a relaxing cruise on the Zambezi River and see the wildlife that call this corner of Zimbabwe home. Collette believes on giving its guests impact moments, and you'll experience one at the Victoria Falls Wildlife Trust. Here you'll get an insider's perspective on this innovative conservation initiatives that help mitigate human-wildlife conflict, further your knowledge of keystone species, which are species on which other species in an ecosystem largely depend on, and how this group safely rehabilitates injured wildlife. Their mission is to actively advance and promote environmental conservation and the sustainable use of indigenous resources in southern Africa. Day 14, you'll join your fellow travelers for a 3-course farewell dinner under the stars on the banks of the Zambezi River, not something that you get to do every single day. If you want a little bit more of your time in Africa, since you've traveled halfway around the world to get here, Collette does offer a 4-day extension, 4-night, 5-day extension to Cape Town, South Africa. The cost of that extension is $1,999 per person. If you've never traveled on a guided tour before, you may not know what to expect. Guided touring is a really great way to experience a destination and not have to worry about anything because it's all taken care of for you. It's really nice to have your main responsibility to be showing up on time. In the guided touring, what's included with your fare is baggage handling from hotel to hotel or from lodge to lodge. You'll be having expert local guides as well as a very experienced tour manager who's local to the destination. You'll enjoy authentic culinary experiences, enriching cultural experiences, preferred access to sites and attractions, modes of transportation that are unique to your destination, and an experience that's designed by seasoned travelers for curious travelers. Collette has been in business for 108 years, and they've curated a passion and expertise in the world of guided travel. Travelers love Collette, and these are some of the reasons. On a Collette tour, you have fewer one-night stays in destinations. If you've noticed at the beginning of this one, we talked about the itinerary. With the exception of your first night when you arrive in Johannesburg, all of your other stays are 3 nights. This is 5-star touring with accommodations that are 4-star plus. The accommodations do range from 3 to 5-star based on the destination. In some places, there just isn't a 4-star destination or a 4-star accommodation that's available. Collette is the most inclusive tour operator. Their tours include the must-see things to see in destination and also unique local experiences. You don't have to choose between experiencing one or the other. Collette travelers have the ability to somewhat customize their experience with an average of 2 to 3 included choices and sometimes some optional tours at a nominal cost to enhance their trip. Other reasons why travelers love Collette: the opportunity for a culinary immersion in a destination, the location, quality, and uniqueness of the accommodations, transportation that's unique to the destination. On this particular trip, for example, you'll be spending a lot of time in safari vehicles, as well as doing day trips on a river cruise and then actually staying on the river for 3 nights. And Collette features the very best tour managers in the travel industry. The tour managers are typically locals to the area who bring the destination to life with the breadth of their knowledge and expertise. If you book your flights through Collette, Collette offers a hometown pickup, which means that you'll have a driver pick you up at your home and take you to the airport. And when you return from your trip, they will pick you up from the airport and take you back home. Also, if you book your flights with Collette, when you arrive in your destination, you will have an included transfer from the airport to the hotel and back to the airport at the conclusion of your trip. Collette does give you the option to book your own air. And if you choose to book your own air, the cost of the air that's bundled in the trip will be deducted, and you will have the option to purchase transfers from Collette. As mentioned, Collette gives you the opportunity to personalize your adventure. If you are booking air with Collette, you do have the option to upgrade your air to premium economy or even to business class. If you have a free night where you're doing a meal on your own, your tour manager will be happy to give you a recommendation of places to eat in your destination. There are a handful of optional excursions available for a nominal fee. You have the opportunity to have nights before your tour in the destination and stay after the end of the tour if you choose to. And as mentioned on this tour, there's also an extension, 4 nights, 5 days in Cape Town at the conclusion of the tour. Travel insurance is very, very highly recommended. You don't want to have an accident or an illness occur while you're on tour and have the expense of getting back home if you need to be medically evacuated. And you also don't want to have to come up with cash to be treated in a local hospital. Collette offers a no-worries travel protection. If you choose to purchase this insurance from Collette, you're eligible to get a full refund if you choose to cancel or need to cancel for any reason prior to the trip. You'd be fully refunded in cash, less the cost of the premium that you paid for the insurance. The Collette insurance does cover you while you're on tour. It includes medical assistance if you fall ill or have an injury while on tour, as well as emergency evacuation and coverage for baggage that's lost or delayed getting to where you're going. And that concludes the presentation. There is a web page that's set up for this specific tour to book into my group. If the dates don't work for you, this tour is offered on alternate dates, but to take advantage of the reduced price, you would need to book into my group, which again is from November 5th to November 19th of 2026. Speaking of the cost, this cost is $10,314 per person based on double occupancy. That price does include economy airfare from San Diego. If you choose to take the Collette airfare and you're not a San Diego resident, we can certainly price the airfare from the location where your hometown airport is. If you choose to book on this, you'd need to pay a deposit of $698 per person, and the cost of the recommended insurance is $699 per person. The price will increase as of March 30th, 2026. And that is pretty much it for this. I'm really happy that you were able to join this. If you have any questions about this, please don't hesitate to reach out to me, joan@tastefulvoyages.com. I really do hope you may consider taking this extraordinary journey with Collette Vacations next year. Thank you so much for your attention to this video presentation. I really appreciate it. Ciao for now.